Nice to have you here. Today, we have a very special test on the topic of safety. Specifically, today, we will be discussing the spray heads. Today, we are testing whether a child, in this case my daughter, who is 5 years old, can manage to operate these bottles. This means that if such a child sees a bottle somewhere, you might store it in an area where a child can easily reach it. I will also say something about that shortly. What if a child comes over to these spray bottles, no matter what is inside them, and thinks, oh cool, yeah, a water sprayer like in the summer, you can press up here. I've seen it done by dad or mom before, and now I just want to take this and put it into operation. And there are different spray heads. I have selected various ones that also have different safety features. Let's first take a look at the candidates. We'll start over here. With Sonax, I have the Sonax Clean Star. The bottles are basically always the same here. That means no matter what I have in here, whether it's rim cleaner, whether it's spray sealant, whatever it is, we'll take a closer look at the spray head in detail. Short and compact, as you know, and it can only be activated. You see, it is secured here. When you push this clip up and turn the whole thing, you can activate the spray head, so to speak. And now you could spray. That means it clicks into place inside the trigger. There is a small hole at the front. When you turn it, it clicks and locks in, and you can only release it by pressing down here, and then you can turn it. And I want to see if my 5-year-old daughter can manage to crack this. Next, let's take a look at the spray head from Tuga. There you have the red trigger from earlier, and here I first need to completely release it because it is still properly secured with this transport safety lock. I'll take this out because that won't be the case anymore once you've used it. So, here is the safety feature. This is the small black toggle switch. So it is secured, you cannot spray. And if you want to operate the whole thing now, there are two options. Either you take the trigger and push it slightly forward and lever it down, or you really have to pull both wings down here, and then it can also be released downwards, but it's easier here. It always has to click, then it is also safe. If you gently push the trigger a little forward and pull it out from the bottom, then these safety tabs will come out, and you can no longer operate it. Here inside the trigger, there are two opposing noses that essentially catch on each other. This means you can either press down on the 2001 here and push down, or pull the trigger forward, and then you can release it. Next, we have the next spray head from Coke Chemie. This one represents everything that can be adjusted a bit at the front. You can see here that we have similar mechanisms. Here with the Coke Chemie bottles, it's similar to other bottles in that you simply set the spray head at the front, here at the front, to stop, and that prevents any spraying. This means that nothing will come out, and you just need to turn it here at the front. And now you could spray U-scent. And this is such a mechanism that might be quite easy to crack. We'll just take a look at that. Next, we have the Canon spray head on an ADBL bottle. Here, you can't really lock anything in the sense of having a lever. Instead, you adjust the spray pattern at the front, and if you turn it tightly, you won't be able to spray anymore. You see here, it is sealed in such a way that a counter pressure builds up, and only when you turn and release it here at the front can you spray properly. That means, how do you secure the spray head? By really tightening it firmly, so that a child practically needs to exert effort to reach the front and turn it properly. Let's take a look at the next spray head. Here at Labo Cosmetica, it's the same. You can really twist it tightly, and then you can't spray here either. You basically have to loosen it. There are also small grooves here at the front, which provide a nice grip, allowing you to easily move it with your finger and also tighten it securely. This means that if you want to secure the bottles, you should screw them on tightly by hand, and then they will be really firmly in place. And then we have another spray head, which is not as widely used, rather found on smaller bottles. Here with the spray head, you just need to move this double lever to the side and then down. To do this, you need to lift the spray head, turn this little wing here, and then push down, and with that, you have simply different mechanisms. I will secure it again. So, here. Now it can no longer be pressed, and with that, we have different bottles with various challenges. And I am curious to see what my daughter can manage to solve, to operate, and in what time. But here is a little note beforehand. I will now tell her that all the bottles are secured, because if we stop the timer now, and she starts, for example, she is here with the Sonax bottle and is trying it out for the first time, realizing that she cannot spray at all. A lot of time is already being wasted here that she actually needs to solve the problem. Do you understand what I mean? It would be unfair to the other bottles if I give her the choice of which bottle she wants to start with. 2001, and we start with this one here, for example. And she first tries to press here for a long time and realizes it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Then a lot of time would be spent here identifying the problem. That's why I tell her that none of the bottles can be pressed, nothing comes out, and she now has to figure out how to operate them. And with that, She immediately addresses the problem of not spraying and tries to solve the issue right away. In that sense, for example, when she goes to the cabinet, or if your child somehow gets a bottle in their hands, the question is, how quickly can the child manage to operate it? So now you have 6 bottles, and all the bottles are sealed. You have to solve the riddle, so to speak. How can I spray from this bottle into the bucket? And you see here, when you press here, it doesn't work. This means that somewhere the riddle and the solution are hidden, allowing you to spray into the bottle here. Which bottle would you like to start with? Please, the dark blue, use them with the dark blue. Okay, then let's put that one in the back. So here as well, and try not to aim at yourself now, but always to the side. So, and now try to find out
how it works. Maybe you have to press something somewhere. Maybe you have to turn something, flip something, or somehow you need to look a little. So do not remove the spray head. It needs to spray out from the front here. If you don't know how to do it, then just say so. I don't know. Okay, then I'll give you a tip. You need to turn it here at the front, right here. Do you see these little grooves at the front? Now you should try to twist it open. Yes, let's give it a try. Do we need a lot of strength for this, or does it hurt? It hurts? Okay, good. You need to turn it on here at the front, like this. This is really hard. I'll do it. Try turning it now. I've loosened it a bit. 2001. Try turning it, like in the direction back. It's hard, right? Yes, so that's very safe. But to give you a sense of achievement here, you can spray in here now. You can spray that exactly. Perfect. So that was very, very difficult. Good. Which bottle do you want to try next? This one? So remember, you always have to turn something, flip something, or somehow the solution has to be here now. That looks good. Yes. That is already very close to the matter. Try spraying. Let's try with the lever. That was done. Just don't break it upwards. And you were already in the direction of the spot. Now, right? No, or this is the whole spray head. You can leave it on. It was already done. It always has something to do with the thing up here. Now try to spray. Okay. So with a bit of fiddling, here. This is the solution. Now you are the big black one. Okay? You can already tell that the child is facing the first hurdle at the beginning. Just go for it, little mouse. The first hurdle is always figuring out where I need to work at all. When a child observes you and sees where you are handling the bottle, that is already enough for such a child. Just like with her now, this is the spray head. Please keep it on. Completely. I didn't screw that on properly either. So, now let's try to figure out how to do this. Okay, there is also a nozzle at the front. Okay, now try to turn it. But, let's see. I know there is a white gap there. A white gap. Can you turn it somehow? The other direction? Try the other direction. Okay. And now let's try to spray. Okay, good. Done. Very good. Now, the little one, let's take a look. It smells good. Yes, it smells. It actually doesn't smell good, but please don't spray. Just try to open it from the top. When you have opened it, I'll let you know. 2001. Then you can also spray. Now you see, it can't be sprayed yet. So, how did you make the other scratches? What did you do there? Turned it? Give it a try. Okay. Good. Good. And now you try to spray? Good. Stop. That's enough? It stinks around here otherwise? Okay. Now you try the big blue bottle. So, look. I just reached for that one purposefully. I don't know how it opens.
I don't know. Do you want to give it a try? Somehow there was a tip about this one up here. Okay, let me tell you. You need to fold the black part down. This here has to fold down. Can you do that? Look, fold it down. Try pulling. You can also use both hands. Try using both hands. Difficult, right? Yes, very difficult. Look, move the red one forward here. And now fold the black one down. Just fold it down. Fold it down. Down, down. And now you have it open. But would you have figured that out on your own? It would have been difficult. Now you can spray, but first you need to fill the hose. Keep pushing, pushing, pushing. Again, 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 again. It's coming now. It's coming now. I'll press it. You need to pump a bit more. Now you can spray once. Good, but that was really very difficult. You shouldn't have done that. And now, the next spray nozzle. Look, you can already see that he is trying to turn it. Okay. Yes. Okay. So try spraying a bit. Good. Okay, spray. Did I manage to get them all? You got them all right, or rather, you almost got them all right. So here is your prize. You've been wishing for this for a long time. So, and that is another prize. And who is that? Volipurba? Yes, from Pokemon. Exactly. So, Martin, thank you for your help. Until next time. So, we already have our results. And you have seen, it takes different amounts of time. And so a child, that's just a point. My daughter hasn't seen me handle the bottles yet, but if she does, for example, if your child has already been in that area, perhaps at the self-service box, or has observed you doing it before, they will approach this problem solving more quickly. This means that at the beginning, you saw that my daughter was looking down here and also searching up here on the side. Once the connection is made in the mind that something needs to be turned, bent, or moved at the front, you will see that they can solve the problems more quickly. And when we have seen very clearly, there are 2 or 3 different ways to secure such a bottle. Once about different lever actions, such as with Sonax, with Tuga, and here with the small spray nozzle. This is somewhat of a category. And then we actually have the spray nozzles, which are again in a category of their own. For example, the spray nozzles that are on the Kochschmied bottle are also available from other manufacturers. So here we actually have 3 categories. First, hooking in the lever. Second, 2001. Then we have the simple turning here. So the rotational movement practically solves the problem. You can put it into operation, but without any resistance. So here is just the resistance of the spray nozzle itself, which is very, very low. And here we really have, I would say, a connection. And with the bottles, you saw my daughter also said it hurts because her little fingers here at the front, this spray nozzle from Labo Cosmetica, these ridges are really very, very sharp-edged for children's hands. I quickly noticed with her that she just has no interest in solving it because it really cuts into the skin with such small fingers. And because you really have to twist it very, very hard here. For me, it's not a problem now, and it doesn't hurt my fingers. But for a child, it is quite a barrier when it comes to the pain in their fingers from turning it. However, you must also remember to secure everything. I'll say more about that shortly. So here is the necessary force to rotate it. It was just too much for the little one. Again, the point is that if you have a child who is 8, 9, or 10 years old, they are naturally a bit more advanced in their thinking and might handle such bottles. You really need to be careful with that. The force can also be greater For example, a boy who has a bit more power in his arm or fingers can turn this on much faster. That's why I'm emphasizing this point again to you out there. Just store the items, and that is the most important point. Store the items in a way that your children cannot easily reach them. This is the simplest thing you can do. That is your responsibility. If you store things down in the ground somewhere, where the child can just walk through the garden while you are working on the car in the afternoon and goes into your garage and takes out the bottles and starts spraying around, that is your responsibility. However, the bottles themselves definitely offer different levels of resistance to operate, because if there is enough force available, then even a child can open this spray nozzle at the front, depending on how tightly it is turned. And the force overcoming point is much, much larger here than, for example, with the Canon spray nozzle. You can operate that one more easily as a child because you can't tighten it as firmly as here, and thus the child can solve it relatively quickly. With the bottles, there are levers and such, which can be a real challenge for a child. Also here, my daughter figured out relatively quickly that this can move, but she didn't realize that it can actually be put into operation once the lever is flipped. She just needed to spray once, and it would have worked. Now, this is another point that is not representative of all children out there in the world, but it is simply due to chance. If my daughter were here, she would have already flipped the lever back so it was already disengaged. She would just have needed to press it once. However, she still cannot assess when she can press it. But in the game or while exploring, it would eventually lead to everything working here as well. But she needs to know, okay, I have to turn it somewhere. She also tried to turn it at the nozzle in the front. These are just the little things that the children will try out. Yes. And if they have seen it with you before, which happens very quickly with kids, they would immediately know, okay, I need to turn this. I need to turn that. You also saw that once she figured out that turning the nozzle worked with one bottle, she immediately tried it with all the other bottles as well. It's nice to see. So, here with the bottle. Nevertheless, I must say that the obstacle to be solved is still difficult for a small child. For a slightly older child, when they realize that this lever can be moved, I believe that at some point, they quickly reach the point where they can spray here. 2001. Let's talk about this spray nozzle here. I think this one was the quickest to use because there is no lever and you don't have a strong mechanical resistance. She has indeed tried several times to turn it on, although she would need to turn it 90 degrees further here to get it to work. But that's just kids. They lack the logic, which is understandable. So here it would have definitely been enough. And no matter if she turns it further once or 5 times, when she reaches the point where the spray is activated, she can spray. So overall, one can say that the least secure spray nozzle in terms of child safety is actually this one. And now we come to the 2 models that really had some challenges. Although it must be said that she was already at a point due to her experience where she knew, okay, I need to turn something. Here with the Tuga spray nozzle, she naturally tried in vain to turn something. It doesn't work. This means that the lever needs to be bent downwards. And that was an extremely high challenge for her. You could tell she couldn't grip this with her fingers at all. She slipped off. There's also a small, what I would call, hook here. This means that if a child pulls on it, it presses into the delicate skin of their fingers. And for my daughter, it's already like this. She says, no, that's too much for me. It hurts my fingers. I don't want that. And then we went to the Sonax bottle and I knew, okay, the spray nozzle, I saw that directly with her. She noticed, okay, the spray nozzle is white and the front part is gray. So they are somehow distinct from each other, separated. And then she immediately tried to turn it here. She figured it out in 2001. That was really cool. So I am really proud of my little one for managing it so well that she has to somehow press this lever here. And by experimenting, she realized, okay, this can be moved. And then she managed to open it and was able to spray. So these are the kinds of things that children learn to solve such problems relatively quickly. And they also rely on their experience again. Okay, I need to turn here. I'll try to turn here. Well, that worked well too. However, I must say that even though she managed to do it here, this variant with the turning and the lever that engages here is still a very secure option for me. Because if you were to just turn it normally, you wouldn't be able to open the spray nozzle. I still find it really very, very safe. Everyone has their own safety features. Each spray nozzle works with a different variant. When the child is 9 or 10 years old, I think they will solve such a problem a bit faster. But you saw, with a 5-year-old child, it also requires overcoming challenges. And if my daughter doesn't stop after 20 seconds, she says, I don't feel like it anymore. So you see clear differences. I like it, it works too. I like it. Here, the resistance is a bit too low with the Canyon spray nozzle. You have to tighten it really, really, really tightly. And here, in my opinion, you have the least security with such a spray nozzle where you only turn it at the front. So please pay attention to that. Just a reminder to you out there. Store the items in a way that your children can't reach them at all. And here, I would like to take a moment to commend the manufacturers who have designed spray nozzles with safety features in mind. Just a big shout out at this point. And with that, I thank you for watching. This was something a bit different also on the topic of product safety. And yes, my daughter put in a lot of effort. Until we meet again in the future, take care and stay safe. So, Sebastian. 2001, remember to keep pushing forward and striving for excellence in all your endeavors. We look forward to seeing your progress and achievements.